Details? Bye. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Okay, a couple midweek life advices for you. lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. Okay, we had remember the guy that he wanted to know if he was a scumbag, and we said no because he was basically hanging out with this girl who had a boyfriend long distance, but it was over the summer. And then we basically said the only way to get this girl back is to ignore her, because she wanted to like still have her boyfriend back on campus, but yet she didn't want to get blown off by the guy emailing. He also said he liked his chances unless there was a gun. He has a follow-up, so I'm going to allow this to happen. He goes, first of all, I want to thank you for the advice. I also, too, want to give a quick response to the weapon situation and what I view my limitations are when it comes to combat. This was such a great opening line that that second sentence is so good. I'm going to read it one more time in its seriousness and directness and to the point that I was like, all right, I don't even care what the rest of the email says. I just love this sentence so much. Quote, again, I just wanted to give a quick response to the weapon situation and what I view as my limitations are. What I view my limitations are when it comes to combat, end quote. The whole weapon situation is tricky. I think because it also depends on who is wielding the weapon. I just want to add that I'm 6'2", 210, a varsity athlete, so still in pretty good shape. If any weapon with decent length were to be drawn, I would honestly probably just run away unless the guy looked like a complete chump and had a 3-inch blade or something. That is probably my limit. 3 inches. A machete would make me run. Hopefully the person isn't good at throwing it or faster than me, because that would suck. I would also just want to say respect to Kyle for getting a bat to defend himself and his roommate. That's a good friendship move and probably went a little under the radar, but that shows great honor in class, a modern day knight. So shout out to Kyle. As everybody has learned throughout this process, Kyle is the real hero that we all need. But this guy just broke it down. It's like, look, over 3 inches, I'm out of there. So, Kyle, what did you think about that part?
I mean, it just leaves me asking, what are his skills with a bow staff? I just got real Napoleon Dynamite summer vibes. I mean, I'm glad that he thought it out, and it's exactly what I thought he would say. It's like, yeah, large pointy weapons probably would take him down a notch in the confidence department. So I think he's right, and I think with that philosophy, he'll live a long time.
I've never been afraid of a bow staff. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now, because if you avoid the first blow, the guy is so exposed. You just get you got to bait him into making the first move. And it's like, if you're going to have a bow staff and be Floyd Mayweather with it, you don't see that very often. Although I got to admit, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody fight with a long stick for a real fight. But if you're going to come out with that and start spinning it around like it's fucking talent show in high school, I'm letting you make your first strike. I'd like to think with something that size, I'd be able to dodge it. And then once you're exposed because your arms are extended after the first strike that missed, it should be game over. You should be able to get a couple good shots in there that are wide open. So I would say I like where he's going 3 inches above, but then I think there's another length where it's game on again. Kyle?
What if it was John Heater with the bow staff?
Well, we interviewed Heater live in person, and he didn't like me very much. So Heater could have a fucking machine gun, and I don't think I'd be scared. Not to say anybody should be ducking any machine guns, but you get my point. I don't know. 3 inches. I mean, Kyle, do you think at 4 inches you would take your shirt off and kind of like cover up your strong hand and your off hand?
You stand sideways, right? That's the other one. Right. Get yourself
less to hit.
Less to hit, right? Go. Isn't that what everybody says? Who's never been in a knife fight?
That's what you hear. That's what you see in the videos. Yeah, turn sideways. That'll solve it. All right. So I just knew there was a lot of people out there wondering. He didn't mention anything about the curl at all, which was great. And you know what? You don't have to email us again, man. We're probably done with this.
Here's the problem with the specific weapons, though, is like, the bow staff, nunchucks, like throwing stars. The problem is if the chances are if somebody has those in a fight, they know how to use them. Like, you don't just have that if you don't have experience using a bow staff or any of that stuff. Like, who just carries around nunchucks? Like, that guy probably has used it before. Throwing stars. Again, you don't just carry those around. So while they're like low on my like fear radar, I have a feeling the person using it knows how to use it.
I don't know, dude. Any teenager that's ever been to a flea market has found the throwing stars. I can promise you that.
Yeah, but they're using it on like a display case in the room. They don't carry them around. Like, I had a guy who had daggers. Like, my friend Brian loves daggers, but like, he's never used a dagger. They're just on display in his room. He doesn't know how to actually use a knife.
There's a certain age where you should stop having martial arts equipment hanging from your bedroom.
I don't know, dude. Like a good katana, that's kind of badass. Maybe in the man cave in the basement. I don't know.
So if you had a nice samurai sword, you would hang it in your basement now, Surti?
I mean, if I had a samurai sword, I wouldn't use it. I would probably. What else could I do but display it? Like, am I going to be in the backyard cutting fruit? No.
That's why, The Office has so many brilliant things that they did, and it's just a brilliant show for a bunch of different reasons. Okay, but when they had Gabe throw the party, and he had a bunch of different katanas displayed, and he had like the stand for him, so I think they're like 3 different sizes. Yeah, I love that part of whatever the TV process is when you're on a show and you go, okay, who's Gabe? And then you just start mapping it all out. And then somebody in the room would go, okay, his bedroom, he definitely has stuff from Japan. Mm-hmm. Like he ordered the swords. But he also, Gabe, as you know, part of his backstory is he lived in Japan for a little while, so it felt a little bit more legit. I just think that if you're 40, no offense to the guys that are 40 or plus, but I don't know. I don't know how. I think there's a part, whatever it is, there's a certain age where it's just no longer cool to have Japanese weaponry.
Accurate.
That's fair.
Kyle, do you have anything? You probably, you know what? Don't even answer that because I don't want to. I don't
I'm
want
trying to incriminate anybody.
Yeah, right. Don't answer.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. This one's great. It's different. They sent me text messages and everything. 6 foot 190 yoga guy. He thinks he might be the only guy into yoga. I don't believe that, but we don't have a lot of guys claiming it. I keep thinking about joining Richard Jefferson's place in Hermosa just to loosen up these hips. I think I'm getting close. Anyway, I walked Venice Beach today, by the way, unrelated to anything we're doing about right now. But I just had a couple hours, little free time. I was just like, I'm going to go up there and walk around. And I was like, oh, this is why I don't come up here that much. But it
seems too touristy for you. Just too much of a hot spot.
Yeah, but it isn't. I mean, we've had bad weather out here the last couple of days, which is, unheard of. And bad weather out here is like, oh, wait, is that a cloud? But it's been by the standards for LA, bad weather here. Kyle, you'd agree with that, right? I don't know what it's like inland though. Sometimes it's different.
Yeah, it's been gray. I don't like Venice either.
So our guy recently moved to Denver from New York City. Man, the number of people moving to Denver from New York City, if they built a commuter rail that took a full day, they would actually still do well. All right, like everyone in the pandemic. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, he followed it up. On a ski trip with 4 good friends from college. Good Midwestern school here. My friend, 6'5", 225, declared out of nowhere that he can dunk. Oh, apparently he also listens to the podcast. Because so many of you guys are calling out people in these life advice, and like either they're going to listen, and that's some weird tactic, or you're forgetting how big the show is, which was cool. All right. So for the next 4 hours over beers, we proceeded to debate whether or not he could dunk. The other 3 of us firmly don't believe that he can. A few important things to note from that discussion. He claims he was slamming all the time in college. The guy that could dunk. So we're talking about a Stromile Swift just walking around campus. We asked for any witness that he could text call to confirm a visual sighting of one of these dunks. Best he could offer us was he was a far out fringe guy who didn't respond to his text or call. He said multiple times, quote, "We would not understand because we're not dunkers."
I love that.
How high was he when he said that? He then proceeded to show us how high he could jump, parentheses, was not high, but more claiming his massive height and wingspan doesn't require major hops. Look, if you're 6'5", and you've got a 6'9" wingspan, which is usually not the math on white guys, and the pictures that we have of this guy, he's white, and the picture that I have of him, he doesn't look like a dunker. I'm telling you right now. Would be the best way to describe this guy. Aspiring doorman. Okay. So in Vail at 1 a.m., obviously no basketball courts. Yep, been there. So we agreed he'd dunk when we got back to Denver. However, since then, every time we try to set up the dunk, He has a new injury, shoulder, leg. You get the picture, see the text below. He's a great guy, but how do we break it to our friend that he can't dunk? Well, apparently he's also listening to this the entire time. So let's go over some of the text. All right, here's one. I'll put $100 that by June 1, there will be a video of me dunking. Anyone who wants in on the bet. So apparently he's giving himself almost a year, 10 months. And then the other guy says, how many tries? And he said, 1 try, LOL. That was met with a ha-ha approval by somebody else in the text thread. And then they said, deal. And then he said, anyone want to get wasted tonight? Feeling like tuning it up. That was just on the thread. And then followed up with might dunk. Who knows? And then one other guy on the thread said, dude, let's go to the court. And then we got this is from the dunker, the alleged dunker. He said, quote, my shoulder is still a little tender. Might have to wait a couple weeks. There's a lot, but there's also a very convenient, I would say. The efficient route would be he can't dunk. If he wanted to dunk, he would have dunked. He wouldn't say there'll be a video by next June. There wouldn't be, oh, my shoulder's still bummed out. I mean, he's the one telling you he doesn't need that much. I love the idea of him being hammered in Vail at 1 a.m., jumping in some condo you guys all rented, being like, see? Like no ball, nothing, and just jumping in a living room on wall-to-wall carpet going, you guys are idiots. Look at me. Look how high I get up. And you guys are like, you're not even jumping that high. So we all know what's going on. He can't dunk because if he could, he would have done it already. Does it mean he could have at some point? Here's the thing. If he's this close of a friend to the point where you all live in the same area and you're all getting a place together in Vail and none of you have ever seen him dunk and you're at this stage of your friendship where you'd invite him to this kind of thing, then maybe it's even more absurd. Now, I'll try to cover it from all angles because I've done something like this. I used to round up some of my lifting numbers just to set a goal in case I ever got called out. It actually motivated me and worked. So if somebody said like, hey, and then I actually turned a little bit older and you're like, why would you round this stuff up? That's like when Billy Football did it to me on Pardon My Take, and I knew immediately he was lying because I was like, I know exactly what you're doing. You said around and round it up and then use 2.5s in your max. None of that makes any sense. Like you just got caught lying 3 different times. I know because if somebody asked me like, hey, what are you doing for this? Which again, this is all loser talk, but whatever.
I was asking you these questions besides the Pardon My Take guys. Like
yeah,
on the street walking down Venice Beach, did dudes just ask you like, hey, what do you bench, dude?
No, it was younger, but I'd get asked by the steroid guys. Because they'd be like, hey, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, well, I'm around this. And I might like in my head, I wasn't doing it because I wanted them to think I was cool. I was doing it in some fucked up way of motivating myself to be like, well, I better make sure I get close to that because I don't want to be a liar. So it was weird. I wasn't doing it to lie to impress anybody. I was doing it to motivate myself. So the only thing I can come up with here, again, and then I turned 30 and probably was like, this is fucking stupid. Why would you do this? What I would say is that maybe this guy's always wanted to dunk and he's really close. And he decided after a bunch of drinks, the best way to get to that goal was to put himself on the line, is to really put the pressure on him. But it's very clear he can't if he doesn't. Right?
Yeah, he can't.
What else is there to add to this? Go ahead.
There's nothing. It's not like a situation where you say you can dunk and it's like, give me a year and I'll get you a video of me dunking. That's incorrect. He cannot dunk. He may have gotten rim at some point. Maybe he's one of those guys that's dunked a tennis ball at some point and thinks he can dunk, but he's never actually in-game dunk. He might have actually never even dunked with an actual basketball. So this guy is totally full of shit, but I love the fact that he calls people non-dunkers and like holds it over their heads.
Kyle?
No, I mean, all signs point to no. He would have been way better off just saying I used to dunk all over everybody and leaving it there. But yeah, it just seems like sort of like Mulan when like all the guys that were peeing and she like wouldn't go to the bathroom because she's not a guy. It's like, it seems like he's like keeping up the appearance. I don't know. I would have just not took it to this level because now everybody's waiting for you to fail. It's like not even like people are like, yeah, right, you used to dunk. Now people are like, I don't think you could ever dunk and you definitely can't dunk now. And we're going to just keep making you uncomfortable until you fail at this in front of us. So strange.
What's confusing though is that like these guys who are questioning him, they're his friend and they've never played basketball with him. They don't like, I feel like if most of the people I know I have some idea of what their athletic ability is, or I've played a sport with them. This is like a total mystery. It's just like some 6'5" friend that they've never seen on a basketball court. It's wild to me. There's just no way. I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. Like, who's learning about each other's sporting accomplishments in their late 20s and 30s if you've all been friends since college?
And he was apparently the dunker in college too. Like, how that was like his nickname. This doesn't add up at all. I guarantee he didn't think he was going to get called out for it. He was like, I could dunk, and he didn't think anyone was going to be like, okay, sure, prove it. And now he's like, well, shit. Now, all right, give me a year and I'll get those like dunk shoes that everybody got off East Bay back in the day and see if I can work this thing out.
I know. I regret not putting more effort into being a dunker because I unlocked it all at such a later stage in life that then once I was like, I think I can throw one down, and threw it down, and then was like, holy shit, I'm taking a video of this. And I did send it to my friends, and they were like, what the fuck are you on? And I was like, built different, bro. Just built different. So I don't know what to tell you.
You're onto something, though, about being able to look at somebody and tell whether they could dunk or not. But I'm actually confused, Kyle, because you're tall. You're 6'4", right?
6'3", yeah.
6'3". And Ryan, you're like 6'2", right?
Well, I went back. I was so distraught about this height discrepancy. Went back and looked at some physicals, and I was 6'1 3/4" at one point. And I just was like, all right, cool. I'm 6'2". I'm not anymore. Yeah. I think there's a few different reasons, but I'm not going to worry about it anymore.
Well, I'm 5'10", so I'm luckily, I think I touched rim once at like my athletic peak, but Kyle, I don't know. Wild card. I feel like you might be able to dunk.
No,
dude, I could touch it, and I like maybe even grabbed it once in my life, but I have got the weakest ankles. I get it from my dad, dude. Every summer I would like be out of commission for a week or two on the basketball court, just rolling it, like the pops, I hear it in my head. I get nauseous when I think about it. I mean, multiple times a year I would hurt myself on the basketball court to where it was just like my friends would be like, please don't, because like then we're gonna have to scrape you off the ground and whatever. So it's just I have terrible ankles, and I think it'll be that way forever.
I don't see you as a dunker. I think your legs are a certain way. I just looked at your legs and I go, nope.
Doesn't have a lower body.
I would never parade as one though. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you are. So this is not the Kyle call out thing. I'm just using my scouting eye.
What do you think about Mark Titus? He says he can still dunk. I haven't seen it.
He did dunk in a video not that long ago. I mean, Titus is big, dude.
I know,
he's not that old. Titus is like 10 years younger than me, more than 10 years younger than me. So he should still be able to dunk, and he's a big guy.
So there is video of it?
He dunked on some video that I saw, unless the video's really old and they just reran it. But there's no reason why he shouldn't be dunking still. He's not 50. He's like closer to 30, right? How old is Titus?
I think he's like 34, 35.
Yeah, give me a break. Oh, yeah. If he's not dunking now and was throwing it down when he was in college, that's on him. Like, he's just letting his body go. That's what you want to do, bro. Go ahead. But you're going to regret it.
I'm so happy this is out there. Thank you for that.
I'm still dumb enough to be like, I don't know that I've peaked yet. It's like, yeah, you can't dribble anymore, asshole. So you're not any good anymore. And I'll be like, yeah, but if I don't know. All right. You know what? I don't think we need to do anything else on this. I think we're good. I think we got it covered today. That was a lot on just one guy, but yeah, the easiest answer, right? The solution is usually the easiest thing. And it's that if you could dunk, he would have done it by now. All right. Enjoy. We have a great show coming up for you on Friday. And we're also going to tape soon with the WeWork Cult of We authors, both of them. That book was awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. And it looks like we got Julian Edelman on Friday, preview Little Pats, and Brady's return, and also Brock Heward, who's been just terrific on college football on the call and just in general on his radio show. So good rest of the week coming for you. Thanks, as always, to Kyle and Steve. Please subscribe, rate, review. Talk to you Friday.